What's up, mi gente? Welcome to my Monday podcast, Let's Overthink It, with your host, Elefante Blanco, talking a little bit about psychology today. First of all, thank you for tuning in, for taking some time out of your busy schedule to be here to connect with me. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you. Usually I'll be here on Mondays, so you can start, planning your week off right. Start off your week right with me. So let's jump to the topic. Before we do, let's start with a little joke, a little psychology joke. How about that? Are you ready? This is the office of a psychologist's office, and the receptionist calls the psychologist and says, "Hey, doc, there's a patient here who thinks he's invisible." And the psychologist tells the receptionist, "Well, tell him I can't see him right now." Quack, quack, quack. There you go. That's the psychology joke of the day. All right. So, what are we going to be talking about today? Well, how to not take things personally all the time. All right. That's what we're going to be talking about today. Is that possible? Do we want that? Or do we want to take some things personally every now and then? Let's talk about that. All right. So I give credit for this information to Mr. Gauranj Gandhi, who writes about these things in a very clear and deep way. So there are four things that really help to at least get you started, not to take things personally all the time. And yes, that is a good personal modus operandi to have, and act on. So why? Because your mental health matters, your emotional health matters. So it's affected your quality of life in the past. It's going to affect it in the future, and it's affected it in the present, right? So why not address that right now? I heard the passing of time as well, like past, present, and future, being described in this way: like the past is depression, the future is anxiety, and the present is contentment. All right. So number one of the things to not take things personally all the time is stop assuming that other people's behavior always has to do with you. Stop assuming that other people's behavior has to do with you. Everyone in this world is struggling with something. So if we say something to someone and they don't react like we expect them to, there may be a good number of reasons for why they're reacting the way they are. Who knows? Maybe they're at the brink of taking their life, and we don't know. Somebody's struggling. I mean, everyone is struggling with something. Everyone is. I mean, they may be keeping a secret, but that is the case. Somebody else's silence, their tone, their distance, their criticism, most of it has nothing to do with you, even if it feels personal. I have this term that I usually call the concept of audience. This kind of phraseology. Basically, it says that we're all many times thinking that they are looking at us and judging us, when in reality, they're thinking probably the same thing, which is, they're looking at me, maybe judging me. So it's always been more of an internal critical conversation that we're having than an actual real criticism that is coming from somebody from the outside. All right. So number two, in terms of not taking things personally all the time, is this: people tend to project what they have not processed. People tend to project what they have not processed. So what I mean by that is that unhappy people many times transfer their inner chaos onto the target around them. You've probably seen that. So if you see somebody acting in that way, don't immediately assume, "Oh man, what did I do? How can I bring equilibrium to this person or situation?" Because you know what? You don't have to take it personally, and you don't have to always carry the burden of bringing that social equilibrium or harmony. And sometimes that person doesn't even want in that moment. They don't want that. They may lash out. Okay, so number three, in terms of not taking things personally all the time, is your triggers are old memories asking to be healed. When something hurts too much, um, it's usually touching an unhealed part from the past, from our past. For example, I remember a client I had years ago. that felt triggered pretty often by the comments made by his boss, basically about his work performance. Um, basically the boss would always say, this is not what I asked for. The report doesn't look right again. When are you going to get it? You've been working here now for 1 year. What's going on? So those messages, were legitimate concerns from his boss. However, they still trigger his past, memories. What memories? From his dad. When he was a kid, he was trying to help his dad at the farm with the animals. It looks like he was having a hard time working with the cows, getting the milk and other tasks. And his dad would get really upset at him and berate him, telling him, son, when are you going to do this right? You've been at this for a while and you still can't do it right. I don't think you're cut out to be a farmhand. Why don't you just go back to the house and help your mom in the kitchen? So these phrases, these things that were happening in the past were connecting with the present. Says something to you, don't always take it personally as if the person is trying to intentionally hurt you. Think for a moment, why is this struggling so strongly in me right now? This is not to say that there aren't people out there who are intentionally malicious and will try to hurt us. I mean, we know that. We know that they're out there. But my point is that we can only control ourselves and our emotions. So, taking that step of introspection and, about our triggers will help us heal better. So, because we cannot control others. And lastly, number 4 of this, whole thing of not taking things personally all the time is to learn to pause before reacting emotionally. You know, that space between the trigger and your response is where freedom from taking things personally lives. Take some time, as I mentioned earlier, to ponder, to be introspective, to take a sip of your drink if you're in a social situation, or slightly deep breath. Just enjoy the power that you have of pausing. There's wisdom in that. All right, that's all I have for you today. But I really would like to hear about your experiences, any experiences that you had about taking things maybe too personally, or other things you want to share with me. I'll be interested in hearing it. Before I go, I always like to finish the podcast with a word of the day, and they're going to be from different languages. Mainly they're going to be from English and Spanish. But today's word of the day is equanimity. Equanimity. All right, you know what it is? You know what it means? I won't tell you, because my teacher used to say, if I tell you, you won't remember it. But if you look it up, you'll remember it for the rest of your life. So God bless you, mi gente, and see you next time.